The Vanishing on Route 66. Where did she go? Route 66, often called the Mother Road, a highway filled with nostalgia, stretching across small towns, deserts, and endless horizons. For decades, travelers have driven its long stretches, chasing freedom, adventure, and the romance of the open road. But behind its beauty lies a darker side. Stories of disappearances, strange encounters, and mysteries that remain unsolved. One of the most chilling stories connected to Route 66 is the unexplained disappearance of a young woman whose journey ended without a trace. To this day, investigators, journalists, and armchair detectives ask the same haunting question: what really happens to her on that lonely highway? It was a warm summer evening when 27-year-old Emily Carter packed her belongings into the back of her small silver sedan. Emily was the kind of person who loved traveling alone. Friends described her as adventurous, curious, and fearless. She had recently quit her job in Chicago and decided to take a long road trip along historic Route 66. The plan was simple: drive west, explore small towns, document the journey in photos and videos, and perhaps find herself along the way. Her social media posts showed excitement: pictures of vintage gas stations, roadside diners, neon signs glowing against the evening sky. For the first few days, everything went perfectly. Emily shared updates regularly. She posted photos from Illinois and Missouri, smiling beside old Route 66 landmarks. Her followers loved the journey. She visited small museums, talked with locals, and captured the quiet beauty of the American highway. But as she moved further west, the scenery changed. Towns became smaller, gas stations appeared miles apart. The road stretched into endless desert landscapes where cell phone signals often vanished. On the fourth day of her trip, Emily stopped at a small diner somewhere in Oklahoma. The diner was a classic roadside stop: red leather booths, checkered floors, and a neon sign flickering outside. According to witnesses, Emily seemed perfectly normal. She ordered coffee and a slice of pie, chatted briefly with the waitress, and asked about interesting places further down Route 66. One customer later remembered that Emily mentioned she planned to drive for several more hours before stopping for the night. The waitress later told investigators that Emily seemed excited about reaching a remote scenic overlook that locals sometimes recommended to travelers. It wasn't exactly a tourist hotspot, but people said the sunset there was unforgettable. Emily paid for her meal, thanked the staff, and walked out to the parking lot. That was the last confirmed sighting of Emily. Around 7:45 p.m., Emily posted a short video on her social media story. The clip showed the highway stretching toward the horizon, the sky glowing orange and purple as the sun began to set. Her voice could be heard in the background saying, "Route 66 sunsets hit different." It seemed like a perfectly ordinary moment, one of hundreds she had shared during the trip. Then, silence. When Emily didn't contact her family the next day, no one immediately panicked. After all, she was traveling through areas with poor reception. But 2 days passed with no updates, no calls, and no new posts online. Her sister tried calling repeatedly. Each time, the call went straight to voicemail. That was when concern turned into fear. 3 days after her last post, Emily's family reported her missing. Authorities began retracing her route along Route 66. Investigators contacted gas stations, motels, and restaurants in the area where she was last seen. Slowly, a timeline started to form. The diner in Oklahoma confirmed she had left around 7:30. A security camera from a nearby gas station captured a silver sedan matching her car, heading west roughly 20 minutes later. But after that, the trail went cold. A search team eventually discovered Emily's car abandoned near a quiet stretch of road about 30 miles from the diner. The vehicle was parked awkwardly near the edge of the highway, partially hidden by desert brush. At first glance, it didn't look like a crime scene. The doors were unlocked, the keys were still inside. Inside the car, investigators found Emily's camera bag and several personal items. Her phone, however, was missing. What made the situation even stranger was that there were no clear signs of struggle. The car appeared undamaged, no broken glass, no blood, nothing that clearly explained why Emily would suddenly disappear in the middle of nowhere. Police searched the surrounding area for days. Volunteers combed the desert landscape. Helicopters scanned miles of empty terrain, but there was no sign of Emily. No footprints, no clothing, nothing. One theory investigators considered was that Emily might have encountered mechanical trouble and left the car to look for help. But that explanation didn't fully make sense. Her car was still functional, and the nearest town was miles away. Another possibility was foul play. Route 66 has long stretches where drivers can travel for hours without seeing another vehicle. For someone with bad intentions, it could be the perfect place to approach a stranded traveler. But again, there was no evidence pointing to an attack. Then, investigators discovered something unusual. A truck driver came forward claiming he saw a woman matching Emily's description standing near the roadside that night. According to him, it was around 8:30 p.m., less than an hour after her last social media post. He said she appeared to be looking toward the desert rather than the road, as if she had heard something or was searching for something in the distance. When the driver slowed down, he noticed another vehicle parked farther ahead with its headlights off. The trucker assumed it was just two travelers talking and continued driving. That detail changed everything. Detectives began investigating whether another vehicle might have been involved, but without license plate numbers or additional witnesses, the lead quickly faded. Meanwhile, Emily's online followers started analyzing her final video frame by frame. Some viewers claimed they heard a strange sound in the background, something like distant metal scraping or a faint echoing noise. Others thought they saw a shadow moving behind the car. None of these theories were ever confirmed. Weeks passed and the investigation grew colder. Search teams expanded the area, exploring abandoned buildings, dry riverbeds, and remote desert trails. Still, nothing. As time went on, speculation grew. Some believed Emily had been kidnapped by someone traveling the highway. Others suggested she might have encountered a drifter or opportunistic criminal. A few even proposed more unusual ideas, that she had wandered into the desert after hearing something strange. There were also rumors about the area itself. Local residents spoke about unexplained lights sometimes appearing in the desert at night. Others mentioned hearing strange echoes carried by the wind. While these stories sounded more like urban legends than evidence, they only added to the mystery surrounding Emily's disappearance. Months turned into years. The case remained open, but no major breakthroughs ever occurred. Emily Carter became another name on the long list of missing persons, whose stories began with an ordinary day and ended in unexplained silence. For her family, the uncertainty has been the hardest part. Without answers, every possibility remains open. Did she encounter someone dangerous? Did something happen in the desert that night? Or is there a piece of the puzzle that investigators simply haven't discovered yet? Route 66 continues to attract travelers from around the world. Every day, people drive the same stretch of road where Emily's car was found. Most of them will never know the mystery tied to that quiet roadside marker. But sometimes when the sun sets and the desert grows silent, it's hard not to wonder. On that summer evening, somewhere along Route 66, Emily Carter vanished. No witnesses, no explanation, no trace. And one haunting question still remains. Where did she go?